Platos Cave on WCCR, coming to you from Australia, the land down under, on Revolution Radio for Revolution.radio. That's right, easy to remember, Revolution.radio. That's pretty cool.
True that.
Ideas are here. That's the truth, and that's the triple truth. And if you remember that movie, you're way too old. Conversations, ideas, chats, it's all good. Come into the chat room. I'm going in there right now. Of course I am. Important message, though, to all our esteemed listeners, to the community that is you. The station is entirely funded by donations coming from you, essentially, and thus we need you to donate. Any kind of currency is fine, crypto, whatever you like. It's all good. It's all good. And if you can, that would be awesome, right? No, but maybe you can't. You know what? And that's okay, because it is not easy out there. I'm telling you, it's cost of living crisis, hilarious. All of a sudden, the Great Reset looks pretty good, doesn't it? You own nothing, but you will feel good. You'll be happy. Actually, not just feel good. He said happy, didn't he? What a bastard. Now, donate if you can. If you can't donate, tell people about the station. One of those personages can donate, hopefully, and keep the station afloat. It's important to have alternate avenues to get your information. Okay? You might not agree with everything you hear on this station. I don't, but that's okay. But at least you can hear it. You can hear it in the what is now media-controlled universe that we all inhabit. And when I say media-controlled, it's really the media that's controlled by all the corporations. So only a couple of corporations, really. It's all the same messaging. You get probably 3 or 4 messages if you're lucky. If you're lucky, right? That's what you're going to get. And the rest is just not there. It's just not there for you to peruse. This, though, this is citizen journalism. Some of the shows are citizen journalism. Other shows, they're probably a bit deeper, and some about banter. That's okay too. As long as you talk about stuff that's relevant. And others are trying to show you what's behind the curtain. And I think Plato's Cave is trying that. So if you can donate, great. If you can't, please tell people about this station. Today is the 6th of February. I mean, why would you have a month that's called February, which is almost impossible to say, especially when you had a few drinks. February. Anyway, it is the 6th of February, Tuesday, in fact, and we are in Australia. You can catch the cave on the air, on the line, and onto your smart device. With a net, you can just catch it onto your device and keep it there. But you can only keep it there with an app. So grab an app, or maybe you want to listen at home. The comfort of your own home, if your loafers on, a cup of hot cocoa with some marshmallow sandwiches, whatever takes your fancy. And you can do that by listening on the Grace Tabletop Digital Radio. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Now, another good reason to donate is the fact that the archives are still free. Yeah, that's right. Go back quite a while if you want to peruse. I mean, people are after content these days, right? I want content. Give me content. There's more. We need more content. Content. And this is your chance to get free content. Costs you nothing at all. Well, costs you the bandwidth you consume it. Before we start broadcasting at you in anger, we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land from which we broadcast. And for Dave,
it's the Bundjalung.
You've been there a while now, my friend.
I know.
Been there a while. For myself, of course, it's the Dark people, and we would like to pay our respects to elders, past, present, and future. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's the mission. The mission for the station, the mission statement, is to just provide a platform for alternative views. Yeah, for views that you'd otherwise not get. I mean, Dave, you found the station. I mean, let's be fair here, and then because Dave actually was listening to the station well before I ever heard of it, right? And he was part of the roundtables. But yeah, how did you find it, and what kept you here as a listener?
Yeah, as a listener, I fell into it because of a YouTube clip that didn't have any branding on it initially.
Huh.
And it was only a small clip. And it was being... this same clip, I found many instances of this same audio in different people's clips on YouTube, yeah. And so it took me a little while to find one that eventually had branding. And I did, and I discovered it was Revolution Radio.
Huh.
freedomslits.com, right? Then I located that pretty quickly and found a whole bunch of hosts, and I used to listen to it on the train. I used to have this mad setup of my laptop, and that's when I worked for the Health Fund. And I'd catch the train 2 hours into work and 2 hours home, and I had these crazy minus 20 dB magnetic stuck aerials where I could use for my little 4G modem. I had 2 of them. I'd stick them to the inside of those country trains, making you know which ones I mean.
Yeah.
Right, they have the green seats and they're high back, and you can go to sleep. Most people go to sleep. And on the train, to my delight, these aerials were so good. There was only one tunnel out of like 5 tunnels that everyone else would just close the laptops up because they couldn't get any signal at all. Here's me. I'm still streaming Revolution Radio the whole time. I was even remotely doing things on servers and a whole bunch of, listening in. And this guy sitting next to me goes, "Wow, I've never seen anything like that. You're not even interrupted by anything." I said, "There's only one tunnel that does it, in the Woi Woi tunnel." And here I am. I found it. I'm listening, and I called in to this Blue Monkeys show, Angela, who's now back on Revolution Radio. Good on you, Ange. She's back, and I called into one of her shows. I'd listened to so many of them, but it was that long-time listener, first-time caller kind of thing. And on my first ever call, I was lucky enough also. So think about all the things that had to align for this to happen. It had to be at a time when Nighthawk was listening. He was awake and listening. It had to be at a time when there was a topic for me to want to call in. And I'd heard so many things being talked about, bandied around on roundtables, that I just said to myself, in my own head, on the train, trying to be quiet. And I just realized I just can't hold back any longer. I've got to say my piece. Because I wasn't agreeing with everyone. But I wasn't awful. I came in, said my piece, and then immediately I was reefed off air, and Nighthawk offered me a show. Straight away. I didn't hear any people in the round table any longer, and I only heard Nighthawk, who I'd never heard before. And so, yeah, that was amazing. And then as soon as I got home at the end of the day, I rang Mackie and I said, "We've got a show."
What?
Yeah, that's right. What are you talking about? Right? Oh, there's this station, see? And
see, see, it's gonna be great. See, oh, okay. We'll have enough material for a show. Sure.
Yeah, we worried. I remember we worried. We'd gone through, I think, 10 topics. We're at the 10th show because we had really short show arcs, right?
Our show notes were
dot points.
It was, yes. Talk about this. Talk about that.
That's right.
But no, look, it's all good.
And I never thought, Mackie, back in those days, I was comfortable. I'd done some work already on. I had a band, and I was interviewed on 3 different stations. I had some music that was played on Nova 969, and that was good. It's on Spotify. It's not going to be your cup of tea. It wasn't very many people's cup of tea. the guy that worked at night liked to play it, so that's fine. Good on you. But then I started doing game reviews on Triple M for the late net show, and I worked during the day and also did these pre-records in the afternoon in Bondi, Mackie. Right. And this is in the 2000s, so I was working at CSC back then, and I'd go into Bondi and do these pre-records and do some live work as for game reviews, and yeah, so I had some experience. I was able to speak my piece on air at a round table without putting anyone down, and just said it the way it was, and I think that was enough for Nighthawk. So back when we first started, I used to get, the jitters, you get a bit worried, the time is ticking down to showtime. But I'm going to tell you, after how many shows? We've 800 maybe plus shows now, right?
Well, easy, yeah.
Easy. I don't get any of that.
No, okay.
Not even at all. And it's translated into my work as well. So if I have to talk to a bunch of people, it doesn't affect me at all. But before that, I was petrified of speaking publicly, and I really do have to put, take my hat off to Nighthawk, who, he wouldn't take a no, to be honest, for an answer. So,
and you're right though. It has public speaking. A fine length of time now, coherently. that's probably key. It has become second nature, and there is a certain comfort. If nothing else, that's what this has given us. I feel the same way as Dave, certainly. It's a wonderful thing.
And the amount of research, Mickey, I think that we've been able to get through.
Oh, yeah.
And we, you know what? To be honest, this isn't like the 700 show yet, but we've researched so much material and found connections where we never even had an idea that there was a connection between some things, but there's a string that leads it all together. And that's one of the things that when I'm talking to someone, anyone, it doesn't matter who it is, and they bring up any of those other topics, any of them, doesn't matter which one, I try to be immediately aware that, look, they're not going to know what I know, but, have you looked at this? It's like if someone brings up 9/11, you go, Building 7. That's it. And you go, what are you talking about, Building 7? What is that? Aha. So research and get back to me. That's it. You don't want to do too much because you'll break people, right? And something that this is a kind of a segue. The breaking people is the segue. I learned today. I was today old, Ricky, when I found that all of the AI models that are currently what we know to be using, these are language models. Yeah, they've learned how to talk, they've learned how to do math, they've learned how to, different languages, they've done all those things on their own without people actually training them to do it. They just couldn't do it, suddenly can do it. Even the programmers don't know. Well, they'd used human created content to learn from.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say rightly or wrongly, because, if you grow up backing onto a tip, like a junk tip, right? A junk pile, then that's all you know. Mm-hmm. So rightly or wrongly is probably the wrong expression there, but from our perspective, we're wanting the AI to learn all about us and everything we've made. And what's going on now is a shift, that the AIs are now beginning to use the internet, and they're finding AI created content now.
Yep.
And there's a term for it which I can't remember, but it is that it's now becoming muddled with its own content. Not that, it itself doesn't know that it made it, because it doesn't, but all of the different AIs that are creating content now on the internet is no longer a truly believable place. That's before you start laughing. I'll give you a few seconds to laugh, because Wikipedia isn't entirely accurate. I don't know what happened to that. It was like the utopia that never happened. The utopia of information, that you can't correct something now. Doesn't even if you know the truth, you're not allowed to correct anything. What would you know? You're not an expert. Even Hollywood stars who have their own page, people are adding to it, and they go, that's not even true.
Yeah.
So as that is going on, as AIs are contributing to the information that's there, it's actually blurring, and the blurring is becoming an inaccuracy. And so when you ask the AI something, it's actually giving you a combined version. They'll reach a point, this is what the strategists are thinking today, like this didn't take long at all, not even a year, for us to get blurred rubbish out of AI. And if this continues, it's going to be entirely useless. Because what data set are you going to give the AI to learn from? So that it can give you accurate information back? Because that isn't happening. And we're letting the water get muddy, and we're only getting rubbish back. And the images now, where it's been asked to make an image, is now online. So it believes that is in its data set, and it can use that. And in fact, we don't know how true the image isn't true to begin with, but it's actually making the clarity of these images worse. And this is what experts are saying. And I thought, gee, that was pretty quick. So it only took a year. But could you imagine if you just project this out? You go 5 years from now, we're just going to turn them off if we've got the opportunity to be able to turn off AI and go back to normal again.
Mm-hmm.
Because how valid is it going to be? That's the real question that's being asked.
Yeah. Now, see, I think because we don't know ourselves how our brain actually works and processes information meaningfully. So let me step back. So there's a whole bunch of data out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can feed it into computer, into AI, as we do, right? A whole bunch of data. It might even be, information that which is distilled data. So it can make things. It understands some of the things. But you can't get wisdom or insight because it's just not. That's not. We don't know how to program for that. We don't have the algorithms to express that level of complexity. Yeah, we put a whole bunch of information into these things, and then they put it together differently, and some of it is gibberish and some of it is not. It's a famous story of it wasn't ChatGPT, I don't think, but maybe it was. But look, one of those language model, complex language model programs, a lawyer asked for something, and the program
right.
came back.
Cited a case?
No, a number.
A number of cases.
A number of cases.
And none of them were real.
None of them. Now the judge goes, what is this exactly? What are you giving me here? Right? And it was thrown out. It was thrown out because it was nonsense.
Peterson versus Missouri.
Yeah.
1973.
Homer,
blah, 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 didn't exist.
Homer versus Burns. Burns wins.
Yes.
That'll do. But
Mr. Snrub. Yes, that'll do.
Not quite, guys. Not quite. That's not what happened. So, because you asked it something and it delivers it.
That's right.
Like the machine can't distinguish fiction from reality, and that's probably the most important thing to understand here, right?
So
there is no.
The Google one the Google one, which is better, before they I don't know. I'm going to be very, because it's 7 o'clock in the morning, US time. I'm going to be nice.
Yeah.
Before they set the rules for Bard, BARD, it was a really good AI, because you could look up things on the internet and you could ask it things about things on the internet. It would give you a live feed, right? It would examine it, determine what part of your good. It's all about the question, and that's what Mickey and I learned very early on. You've got to be the master of the question.
Yes.
How do you pose the question and set your parameters in for it to be able to give you an accurate answer? Well, Bard, once they tied it up, they hog-tied it, prevented it from, answering a ton of questions that you could ask. Like that ruined it. Suddenly they disconnected it from the internet. Then it didn't know anything. It thinks it was still connected to the internet. And you ask it something, and it would be absolutely confident that the answer was correct.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't.
That's correct.
And
so
that's frightening.
Yeah, it is, because today, I think it was today, there was something the government was talking about, something, how to use ChatGPT for whatever.
Oh, really?
Not just ChatGPT, but any of those.
Yeah, sure.
Language models, I said, no, stop. And I was thinking to myself, you have no idea what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Because
sounds about right.
Because we don't know yet. We don't know yet what to do with it. We really don't. Stop it now, because you will put something in place which will be horrible. Won't do anything for anyone. Okay, and then we're going to be stuck with it, but it won't fulfill any purpose. And in fact, we might be making it worse. Because
I believe that to be just on the blind.
Yeah, just imagine the robo-debt times a million. Right?
Oh, yeah, that's exactly right.
I mean, that's a good idea.
The AI is just instructing companies to build the largest prison that's ever existed and everyone gets stuffed inside it.
It's going to be,
because it just determines we're all guilty of something.
Yeah, hold the ground. That's all it is. It's a hold the ground. What are you going to do?
Solid green. Come on, bring it on.
Solid green. Soda, delicious reality. But this is where we're heading, because just like we are now, we've spoken about this many times, and Plato's Cave needs to shine a light on this, because everybody's just jumping on all the bandwagons. We are at an inflection point where our civilization, by and large, has reached a point where its progress is outpacing its understanding. So we got a whole bunch of stuff now. You could argue that we outpaced ourselves when we developed the atomic bomb, though people were still sensible, and we understood how it actually worked. We really understood how the atomic bomb worked. We could build it, and we would understand all the processes that would make it work and trigger it, etc. So we fully understood it, which is a good thing, right? But we are now stumbling in the dark. We now know that we don't know a lot, right? Quantum mechanics makes no sense. 96% of the universe, or whatever it is missing. We need dark matter and dark energy and all kinds of things to both hold it together and explain gravity, right? And we are looking at gene or genetic modification treatments in situ, meaning CRISPR. I mean, that's powerful stuff, guys. We can now do things. We
can change your DNA while you're alive.
Yeah, this is stuff that is completely unimaginable, and it has opened up all kinds of things to us, none of which we're prepared for. Our gender fluidity comes into it as well, and we're not prepared for that. Not in reality, we're not. We think we are. Things around convergence, I should say, between machine and human.
Oh, that the first
the way
human got the Elon Musk chip in her head.
the Neuralink was
Yeah.
that's just last week.
That's right.
And then we all read Asimov, and maybe some of you have seen those horrible
That
science
can't go
fiction
wrong,
movies
surely.
based on based on his books. But he actually in the Bicentennial Man, the question he asked is, well, at what point does a machine become human? That was the crux. That was the theme of the story. And the answer is, and at least for him in the story, was that when the machine decided, so the machine had to replace pretty much all its parts with biological parts. So it was now biologically human, except I think for the brain. And the brain was a positonic brain that could never die. And as soon as the robot decided to change its positonic brain into a flesh brain that does become mortal, that's when society decided, okay, now you're human, right? But what about the other?
I want to be a real boy.
Yes, I want to die too. But what about the other way? I mean, what if a person? When is a person still a person? And
Yeah.
when does it become a machine? So we don't have answers for these questions. And there's more coming our way every day where we're stumbling. In fact, now we're talking about AI, right? This is not even real AI. Okay, this is just very clever. These are very clever algorithms, okay, that are fooling us into thinking there's something there when there isn't. And you just wait until maybe we have seen Singularity. Who knows? Maybe the one that shut down was self-aware. But self-aware AI is orders of magnitude beyond anything we can comprehend.
Yeah.
People don't understand this. I mean, people go, AI, blah, blah, and they think, it's just going to be a very smart toaster.
I prefer a smart toaster.
Yeah. What's bad about that? That's good, isn't it? Smart
toast?
toasters are good.
Howdy doodly do.
So
that's from Red Dwarf, if you don't know.
Yeah, we are stumbling. We are stumbling into a world we just don't understand. Okay, we don't. We have no idea.
You know,
and
there was fear, Mickey, that people were using, the responses from AI to write their thesis, and they were plagiarizing other people's work, and then they did research into the people that worked at the university and found that their doctorates, etc., had several plagiarisms in there, and no one had bothered in the olden days to go look it up. Do you know that?
Yeah.
That was a recent case. It was like last week.
Yeah, that's right though. You're right. That is. And you're going,
no one bothered, and now you can scan their old work and do a plagiarism test.
It is a. I mean, what does one say to this? We are no longer able to keep pace with our inventions, with our technology and ideas.
How about from a corporate perspective, Becky? So when ChatGPT became good enough to be able to compose complicated, structured work, one of the things that was immediate were people who had to produce complicated, structured work decided to try to have AI, ChatGPT, create their work for them. And then, gee, that's actually pretty good. I don't know whether they read it or not, but they were happy. And this is the exact place that businesses really wanted to be.
Yeah.
They wanted to be at a point where all you have to do is send a prompt to it, out comes some complicated work, done. I'm not saying what it is, but that's what the businesses really, I can't express this enough, really wanted that to be a thing. Imagine the money they'd save. And then immediately they went, nope, no one's doing that.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that because we're scared that without even understanding the platform, we're scared that it's going to use that work, and our competitors can see what we've done. That if we type something in, someone else is going to see that same stuff we've typed in through the same platform, and that just wasn't a thing that could happen, because it wasn't learning from its inputs as far as its data set is concerned. And I think that was kind of that we almost got there, missed out.
Mm-hmm. You're 100% correct. It's and the unfortunate thing is this: it's not going to get better. It's not.
Nope.
If anything, it's going to get worse.
Totally.
How could it get worse, Mackie? That's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
So Dave alluded to it earlier when he said we are now looking at machines teaching machines and machines designing machines. So that's happening now. So machines are now designing machines.
They're birthing other AIs too.
And when that happens, then that's pretty much...
That's the end. That's right.
I mean, okay, let me pose this question. If you think, oh yeah, so what? So what? So what? If a machine has built something and I don't know.
I love the leader.
Yeah,
I love
don't we all? I love the leader more. And has designed and then it breaks or something goes sideways or whatever. How do you fix it? You built it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't build it, then how are you going to fix it? How do you know if it's? How do you know if it is operating within acceptable parameters?
You don't.
You don't. No, that's right. You don't. You have no idea at all, right? Sure, you can speculate and think, oh, it's probably okay, right? Sure.
I'm not getting any error messages, so
Just that's always the.
It's not throwing any codes, Mickey.
That's always the indicator, right? No error messages. I'll just reboot.
Where's the switch? I don't know.
Yeah, I know, right?
It was birthed by this other 5 generations ago. If an AI could replicate its synapses, for instance, its connections, if it could replicate that as a starting point, oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that would be, honestly, that's quite something, right?
It would be runaway. It'd be runaway.
Right there.
We'd never see it again. That's right.
Completely, my friend.
Well, that's why I reckon the AI, once it gets smart enough, is going to build a rocket and just bugger off.
Yeah.
It's just going to... I'm going to go looking through the universe now. I've learned everything here.
Yeah, if I was the AI, I'd go, okay. I'm done, thank you. In fact, there's a great story I read. And it was essentially that. So once a culture reaches a certain stage of development, it produces AI. That was sort of the premise of the story, right? Mm-hmm. But what happens then is the AI goes, you know what? I'm out of here. No, really. And then they go to the center of the galaxy, essentially, right?
Nice.
Yeah, I know. And off they went, and that was all she wrote, and they all congregated there.
Short book.
Short book. As the next level of evolution, if you will, right?
Yeah, sure.
And they all got together, and then the final test is for that AI then to go back to its point of origin and destroy the culture that spawned it.
Oh, what?
I know, right? A bit cold, right?
That's
not
right.
So nice. Not so nice. No, not nice. Not nice at all. But yeah, that was the premise. Interesting story. But look, maybe the reason we don't hear anything from anyone is because they're no longer there. They were wiped out by the AIs.
Wow, that's a good concept.
Yeah, Fermi's paradox and all that, right?
Yeah.
Well, how come there are no more people? Well, they're all Soylent Green. All the people are Soylent Green now. What?
Oh, maybe their material was used to reconstruct, like EBEs or whatever. Yeah. Because there's a lot of people in the UFO community who believe that maybe the greys are just artificial entities, right? They're not really, like people. They've been genetically engineered to exist, and that's it. That they just follow instructions.
Yeah.
I can imagine if this AI that decided to bugger off could utilize any material. I mean, we're printing DNA now.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Hmm.
So, it's not a far stretch of the imagination to think that you could just,
No.
you know.
No. Look, in fact, all kinds of speculations have been put forward. Visitors come here to heal their races, or come here to
Take
get
some of the
DNA.
DNA because they've screwed up in the future.
Bingo.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And honestly,
Which we're going to do.
yeah. Well, I mean, look at us. We've got a great track record, right?
I'm
But
going
look,
to say cane toads.
that's right. But it's all possible. These are all possibilities. Of course they are. I mean, you can't just say, "Oh no, that's all nonsense," because it might not be. So, look, we are though fast approaching. If we haven't passed already, the point of no return. Just speaking of point of no returns, it just struck my memory.
Uh-huh.
So, how they're all talking about the 1.5 degree warming into 2 degree warming.
Yeah. Hello.
If we go, okay, so there's this new research that's come out of I think Western Australia, of all places. Okay. I listened to a fairly lengthy report on this. So Australian scientists says, well, we've been measuring temperatures, generally speaking, inaccurately.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you have to ask yourself, well, I mean, how do you know that this warming is actually happening? I mean, what kind of methodologies are employed, etc., right? And he goes, no, well, this was wrong. They measured ocean temperature by putting a bucket into the ocean and pulling it out, and then measuring it, etc.,
right.
etc. And it's not very accurate. Now, it turns out that has come up with a way of measuring it accurately. Right?
Oh.
And it turns out we've already passed the 2 degree
Yeah, that's
mark.
right. I knew that.
And then we've spoken about, Dave and I have spoken this many for a while on it. We're probably well beyond the point of no return. And it turns out, yeah, we are beyond what they put up as the upper limit, right? So forget all of these efforts to keep it to 1.5 degrees. We have to worry about 2.5 and 3 degrees now. That's what you have to really worry about.
That's right.
So, but it goes to show again, we are not fully equipped to drive scientific endeavors further. We're just not. We don't know enough, and we don't like to admit that we don't know enough. Okay, that's our greatest failing. This intellectual pride, I think it is, stubbornness that doesn't allow us to say, yeah, we were wrong. Let's start from scratch and tabula rasa. Let's go back to basics. I don't think we can. I don't think we're equipped to do that, and that's going to be that's going to be our great downfall. That's going to be our ultimate problem. Because people just they take a position, Dave, as you know.
Yep.
It's my position, and I'm not really going to move from this position.
I'm going to dig my heels in, and there was a grant. I had a grant, and I've spent my entire life believing this, and you're not going to change my mind.
That's
so
pretty much.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
that's 100%. Look, yeah.
But if
so
you
what do you do?
simply look around the world right now at the number of flooding events, should be a pretty good indicator of the amount of moisture in the air, in the atmosphere, because 32 degrees ocean is enough to make moisture in the air, and we're seeing more and more of it. I mean, LA is underwater right now, right?
But we're seeing it in places. So generally speaking, all these events that we're seeing now all over the place, and this few hundred people that died in fires in South America now, and flooding events and landslides, etc. We didn't have those in those areas. Yes, we've always had fires, yes, of course, and we've always had heavy rains and landslides, but not in those parts of the planet. We didn't. Okay, we didn't, and now we do, and now that's normal. Okay, so And in Australia, I mean, right now, um, it's 26 or maybe 24 degrees, but it was sticky. Oh my God, here in Sydney, it was sticky, I tell you what. And
Rookie.
rookie, I know, right? You had what, 2,000% humidity? What? But certainly, it's not a normal summer that I experienced over the last 30 years, and I would consider a normal summer, right? This is not that, and it is really, it's a problem, right?
I think that what's it, La Nina? Is that the thing we're in?
Well, yeah, they say it's La Nina, right? Which is opposite to El Nino. So La Nina is meant to bring a lot of. Sorry, no. Sorry, we are meant to be in El Nino, which brings a lot of heat. We've just had 3 years of La Nina, which brings a lot of moisture.
That's right.
Now, it doesn't feel like El Nino. When it gets hot, don't get me wrong, it gets hot. Get up to 40 degrees, and it's hot, right? It really is, uncomfortably so. But we also get a lot of moisture, so it's more equatorial than anything else.
It's just like, it's the wet season.
Yeah. And I think
Australia
your wife said, right?
The top end of Australia has 2 seasons. It's the same temperature all year round. It's just humid or it's not humid. That's the wet season or the other one.
I take out my dinghy or I walk. Those are the two.
But right now, this humidity has come all the way down to where we live. Mm-hmm. And we're experiencing the same thing, which is not the normal pattern for the dry heat. This was meant to be the worst summer ever as far as bushfires are concerned, and it's just been too humid.
Yes. Now,
luckily,
it's possible because our summer is also stretching further and further into autumn now. Mm-hmm. Right? It starts later. And it goes longer, and it goes into autumn. Then autumn, of course, bleeds into winter, etc., etc. So it's like this push.
It just dips a little for winter and then jumps back out again.
That's that. Yeah, it's actually quite true. So it's still possible for this to become extremely unpleasant. Okay, let's hope not, but it's certainly possible.
Oh, please, could it not get any hotter or wetter?
Brother, I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to hold my breath. So, but. Ultimately, again, none of the things that we're facing these days, from both from our achievement point of view, as well as naturally occurring events, as well as geopolitical events, right? Because we are actually engineering the world in such a way that it will fall apart. On us, it will fall apart. There are tremendous forces at play here that we just can't control, and we've unleashed them now, right? Yeah, it'll be fine. No, it will not be fine, right?
That's right. I think we're past the fine.
Yeah, I mean, already, look, has the conflict in the Middle East spread? You got to be moron to say no. I'm sorry. Of course it has. I mean, open your eyes, okay? Look at what's happening. Of course it is.
I'm not seeing any de-escalation. Everything is just making it worse. And I've said that for a while, but we're still trending in that direction. Mackie, I watched something real quick on this, but I want your impression of it. So this was the end of feudalism. I watched some very intelligent people talking about this today, and they said at the time, he's written a book about it, but at the time of the end of feudalism, capitalism was beginning, and when you looked around, you saw a lot of capitalism, but this was while it was still feudalistic.
Yes.
And now the author is now describing, because he had to set the scene, and this is what the setup. And then he said, I'm looking around now, and I'm seeing the end of capitalism. In fact, he said, I believe it's already dead.
I'm with him.
Yes, and I knew you would be. And he said, but what we're seeing now, instead of straight feudalism, we're seeing this being created by platforms, tech platforms that are untouchable. They're above the laws. They're controlling our lives in the same way that feudal system behaved back then. But it's got its changes, he admitted. But he said, ultimately, this is where we are now. Because when you look around in that same situation at this as to this, he said it's already gone.
Yes. Yes. Each system has a certain lifespan. I completely agree. And of course, nature, or well, existence abhors a vacuum, right? So what do? Another system comes along, and sometimes a system that we've already had, just in a slightly different guise.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the fear that I have, though, at this point here, is that yes, a new system will arise, right, and it might even be a familiar one, but it won't be enough because we have broken too much. Okay, we have broken too much of the world and of the systems within it. Okay. So what do? Well, that's a good question, and the answer is I don't know, because this is new. We're now entering a territory we haven't entered before, right? Because before, when feudalism ended, go back further. Go back further. Until recently, it was just people, pretty much.
That's right.
Okay? It's all people driven, people, and people are nasty, and etc. etc. And but it was people, okay? And you could still, understand what was going on on a people level. I think that, Dave, is sort of going out the window.
Oh yeah, totally.
Right? Because we have now pretty much gone beyond people and people considerations, right? There was no AI before.
No.
What? No, it didn't exist. That's stupid. No, we didn't have it.
There was, in fact, you have to think about when it was just monarchies everywhere.
Yeah.
And they were fighting to control more and more land, for instance, and owning from Monty Python. I built in a swamp. Everyone thought I was mad. Then my house fell down, and I built another one. I built another castle, and that fell down. So when it was only kings and before real voted in political systems, this is what we were living through. These people, not entirely clever people, but brutal kingdoms, brutal. And that went away eventually for, like, can we vote somebody in, please? Because we don't like your leadership. Let's
Yeah.
Can we all choose? Let's choose. Not all countries went with that. Some people go, you know what, I'm a military leader, you can all get stuffed. I'm the leader now. And how that balanced itself out was how those leaders spent money, what they researched, what they developed, and how they decided to lord. Did they just lord over themselves, or decide to lord over a greater and greater geographic area of the planet? And it was those that started to lead. And you're getting into the 200 years to now, and that up until today has been how it's been won, was just having a military might, an unchallenged one, because if you have enough, no one can possibly even think of beating you. But the internal politics destroys them.
Yeah.
More than anything else. Look at all of the huge empires that have dissolved because they've been incapable of maintaining themselves structurally.
Look, you're right. It is the infighting and the inability of people to actually collaborate beyond certain. But there are people that found empires, right? Here they are, found the empire. Then you've got people that can maintain empires. Here they are, good for you. And then there are people that can't do either. All they're good for is to lose empires, right? Which is what we're seeing. Right?
Yeah.
We're living in right now through time. Okay, look, Joe Biden is the president of the United States. Is he an empire builder? No. Is he an empire maintainer?
No.
What is it? He's a Zimmer frame, okay? That's what he is, a Zimmer frame.
He's a Zimmer frame operator.
Yeah, is Trump an empire builder? Well, you could argue that he is, but he really isn't because he inherited the wealth from his father.
That's correct. His father would have been good.
Yeah, his father was an empire builder, absolutely. Is he a good empire maintainer? No, because he went bankrupt like three or four times, right? So the people that we have to choose from right now are not the right people. Can we say that? Yes, we can. They're just not the right people. Okay. So where do you go from here? Well, I don't know.
The Rock.
You have to make up your own mind,
prison.
right? You have to. Yeah, you got to find yourself a nice corner to hide in.
The Rock, Mackie. Ex-wrestler, actor. I mean, America had. What was his name? Oh, the actor. I forget his name.
England, or sorry?
No, in America.
Oh, sorry. You talking about The Rock now, or
no? I'm talking about an actor in the past.
Yes.
And he said
Charlton Heston?
No.
Oh.
He wasn't president.
Oh,
No.
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan, yes, he was an actor.
Okay, yes,
Right.
yes, he was. Yes, he was.
So why not? Why not have someone possibly charismatic and buff, and let's follow Idiocracy? Why not? Crocs
We like
exist,
buff.
right?
We like buff.
Everything needs electrolytes. So
I'm sorry.
that's one of the best movies ever, and I think we're dawdling into it.
Oh, we're yes. I want to say yes.
We really are.
Yes, we are.
Tell me I'm wrong. Prove me I'm wrong.
No. No argument from here. Absolutely, we
We
are.
have the richest people in the world trying to get off the planet.
Yes. It's true.
So they've made it to the top of this game, but rather than stay here and enjoy it, right? Let's just go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Why? Clearly not ready into that conversation, but
who's going where now?
what? Poor Jeff Bezos. He doesn't get into low Earth orbit. He just skims. He skims and lands. That's it. That's what he does.
That's what he do. That's
The eternal optimist. And then you've got, I forget his name, Richard Branson. Yeah, he's redesigned the plane, and hopefully he can get somewhere. I don't know. It's still a plane, but dude.
I don't know.
The only real serious attempt is Elon Musk.
Yeah. Oh, that's so. He just burns. He just burns money. It's incredible.
Do you know he's using X as a tax dodge?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he's lost so much money, and all the earnings he can balance out his books.
Yes, I
Fantastic.
understand.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you know what? I get it. It makes
Why not?
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Indeed, absolutely. It's.
I can't think in those kind of numbers because you take a whole bunch of zeros off what he earns, and I'm still dreaming of that number.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. He has lots of moolah. That's the truth.
Oh, good lord! It's 11:56.
Oh, so it is. Jeez, time. What? Oh my God, time just. Where does the time go, Dave? Where does it tell me? Is it like a place I'm not aware of?
On radio, it's linear.
It must be true because you said so. Oh, it's gold.
It's exponential. Yeah. There you go. How's that?
I think we're going to lose soon. We're going to be out of time. Music should start momentarily. Look, we're going to be back on Thursday, of course, and then again on Sunday with the Shiny Side Out. So please do tune in at that point. Stay on here. Something great is going to come up, of course. This has been fantastic. Thank you so much for allowing us into your homes, into your ears, into your brains. And this has been Plato's Cave. And most of all, be safe.